Sutra incomparably profound and infinitely subtle is rarely encountered even in millions of ages. Now we see it, hear it, receive and maintain it. May we completely realize the Tathagata's true meaning.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for being here and for practicing. I'd like to encourage, if you're sitting in a way that we can't really see each other, go ahead and adjust. You're free to move anywhere in the space that works. Interesting side note, some traditions put an emphasis when a Dharma teaching is happening on keeping Zazen posture. There's some times when that happens in our community as well. It's called Jodo-style Teisho. However, the normative is a format wherein we can actually see each other and make eye contact. And that's important because it's important. It has a lot to do with being willing to be seen by the teacher, frankly, and being willing to have your energetic signature be perceived. And also, you know, you never know when you might miss something, you know, a gesture or two, a movement, a look can contain the weight of the Dharma. Why wouldn't it, right? So let's make sure we can connect. And also that you're sitting in a way that in some amount of time from now, your neck won't be mad at you. Okay. Perhaps you've noticed the calligraphy that has replaced the Ongo scroll. I had thought for some time to put something there and was not moved to do so until suddenly I was. And the phrase, master yourself, be free, is what clearly and strongly arose at a certain moment. And I'd like to speak a little bit about this business of mastering the self, whatever that is, and about freedom. There's a koan from the Gateless Gate. Juyen calls master. It's case 12. Priest Juyen called master to himself every day and answered himself, yes. Then he would say, beware. And he would reply, yes, master, I will. Don't be deceived by others. No, master, I won't. Old Master Woolman made a comment on this. He said, Old Yen buys himself and sells himself. He brings forth lots of angel faces and demon masks and plays with them. Why? Look, one kind calls, one kind answers. One kind is aware, one kind will not be deceived by others. If you still cling to understanding, you are in trouble. If you try to imitate Gui Yen, your discernment is altogether that of a mere fox. And we have a verse, Wumen's verse. Students of the way do not know the truth. They only know their consciousness up to now. This is the source of endless birth and death. The fool calls it the original self. Now, this somewhat vexing, somewhat humorous case is actually very central to our method of Zen practice and expresses quite eloquently something of what post-awakening practice may in fact be like. I think sometimes one of the greatest challenges to practitioners' realization is their preconceived ideas about what realization must be. One of the greatest barriers to mastery are your ideas about what that is supposed to be. Because I tell you this, if you have an impossible ideal in mind, then your ego will have limitless chance to punish you for it. And it works well as a trap. You see, dear one, your ego does not care if you exist, if your ego exists because of praise and delight or scorn and shame. It's all the same. As long as there's an ego there, then the trap is intact, in full. Many of us are carrying wounds, the karmic imprints of situations long past. But yet, we find ourselves unable to let them go. Why is that so? And I'm not talking about simply being aware of these past situations, but actually ruminating and savoring and chewing on them and getting some kind of twisted nourishment from the whole thing. Wishing it to be gone, delighting in its presence. You are trapped, you are stuck, you cannot move. Why is it so? Every day, the old master would awaken and call out, "Master." Who is he calling? His study is completed. His training ended. Perhaps his teacher had passed away some decade or two before. Who is he calling? And to what purpose? Then Master would answer, "Yes. What do you want?" Do you still put the Master outside yourself? You fool, do you think it's me? That's just not going to help you at all. But you might try to do that. You might try to safely pack the Master away, someone else. Safely, not you, you suppose. But that will not do. No, dear one, that will not do. You must realize yourself. Yes, Master, beware. Stay aware. Be awake. Why would he need this admonishment if he's already had awakening? Perhaps if your idea of awakening precludes the needing for a gentle or firm nudge, I suggest you revise and resubmit your idea of awakening. Or better yet, just jettison the idea altogether. Our tradition has actually suffered quite a bit because in the earlier days of its arrival to the North American shores, we incorrectly assumed that enlightened people were somehow a breed apart or some different order of human to whom the normal rules simply didn't and shouldn't apply. Bad advice. An ill-informed view. Clearly not sufficient. But there is something to this awakening business. Let's not skip that over. Well, if the rules apply to me, who gives a shit? Why should I be involved? Well, because there's this business about freedom, isn't there? What is the freedom of the Buddha Dharma? Is it having no responsibilities? Is that the kind of freedom? I certainly don't know that one. And I don't think I'd be very happy if I did. I think not. I think shying from responsibility and commitment is an escape hatch that ultimately escapes nothing. The world needs you, dear one. If I may say it, the world needs me too. It won't do to simply remove all responsibilities and think that you've done it. Is this freedom some kind of leaping clear of societal norms? Is it about some kind of amazing novel activity that is pure spontaneity in all situations? No. No, it's not. It's an interesting cul-de-sac in koan study, shall we say, that at certain times a certain kind of person may decide that the answer to these things is just to be completely random. Or at least that's how it seems to me. And while I appreciate, the ability to be spontaneous, I get it, that ultimately is not the total truth either. The version of mastery on sale in our consumer culture is a whole other take. Own all the things. Indulge all the senses. Well, I think we know where that goes. What is the true freedom of awakening? If it doesn't have to do with cutting away your place in life, if it doesn't have to do with abdicating your role in the world, your responsibilities, the engagements that you have, if it doesn't have to do with just being novel and spontaneous and utterly unpredictable at all times, if it's not about having a large enough account that nothing can faze you, as if that were possible, what the hell is it? What is it really? I would point you to the schedule. Are you free? Are you free? The schedule has your life spelled out minute by minute. Are you free? Are you really free? I will tell you, when I wore a much younger man's clothes, as Mark Twain said, I discovered somehow, karmic affinity, dumb luck, I couldn't say, but I tumbled into sesshin, literally. I fell into what this was. And it was at once the most rigorous and proscripted and scheduled and just insane thing I'd ever done. And also the most free. I found I could fly. I found that the concerns of life in the city fell away. And I could be free. But when the bell rang, I had to get up. And of course, in that time and place, if someone happened to oversleep or not miss a thing, a monk was on their way. So, yeah, good times. How about Zazen itself? Sit this way, be still, concentrate, pay attention. The bell rings. Are you free? Are you gutting it out? Are you hiding? Are you disappearing? What's going on there? There is a great freedom beyond compare that is intimately, and I mean intimately, available. It always has been. But finding it, really finding it for real, there are certain requirements. And one of them is a kind of surrender. At a certain point, we have to call out, Master, and we need to be responded to. Yes, that needs to happen. We have to be in a situation where we're able to hear that call and we're able to receive the response that comes. And it has to be surrounded in a great, great deal of silence. True, reliable, contemplative silence. The silence that all the monks and all the mystics and all of our ancestors tasted in common. It's necessary. The Buddha, when describing mastery, said something like this: be yielding like the earth, joyous and clear like the lake. Be still as the stone at the door, and thus be free from life and death. Yielding like the earth might seem an odd combination of words, but if you think of it, the earth receives everything. She rejects nothing. Rain comes, fine. Snow comes, fine. Winds come, fine. Nectar and wine, pus, blood, fine. She receives everything with absolute equanimity. Is it not amazing? She has received your footsteps since before you could walk, and will receive your body when it can no longer walk again. Be yielding like the earth. Solid mountain practice, mountain presence, massive weight, but not as some juggernaut pushing against everything. Rather, yielding and receiving. Also, the Master is joyous and clear, like the lake. interesting image, joyous like the lake, and clear like the lake. This joyousness and clarity, they go together. In fact, the same thing. You have an image of a beautiful mountain lake with pure, clear waters where you can see right down to the bottom. And you, long, weary traveler, deeply thirsting, find joy and rest at the shores of this clear and beautiful lake. Perhaps your daily life is more of a storm feeling. Maybe there's the push and there's the pull, and there's the winning and there's the losing, and there's the deciding and there's the not deciding, the enticing and the terror, right? But finally arriving at that beautiful, clear lake where the water is pure and everything is very simple. Be as still as the stone at the door. I don't know what the stone at the door is pointing to, but it sounds cool. I imagine it to be something like a cornerstone, some kind of a stable, reliable, and still component. The earth, after all, is not quite still, is she? The receptive is quite moving, but this stillness matters. And it's this stillness that the Master is good friends with. The ability to actually be still. Not just externally, mind you, but I mean really still, like that lake. Let your mind settle and become still. For real. Now I know you're a special case. I know. And you are a special case. I know. But please drop your specialness altogether. Please let go of the ideas you have about why, yes, but not me. Really, in the final analysis, we're not so special after all, from a certain point of view. You're born, shit happens. You suffer. You wish the suffering to end. And there's a way to do that. Believe it or not, the particular details of your suffering kind of don't matter. They'll sell you the story that they do, that they're unique in all the world. No one has ever lost their job or had a relationship implode or had a diagnosis. Of course, you think maybe they have, but not like this. That's how it feels anyway, right? And that's part of the trap. That's part of what keeps us alone and keeps us isolated. You must let go of that story. You must, in fact, die every time you sit. You must so thoroughly let go of every aspect of your life that in the belly of that sitting, there's nobody there. You must drop the concerns and the successes, by the way. They're just as sticky. Two sides of the same mistake. Drop it all. The woes, the wows, everything. Just for a breath. Just for this period. Just for this session. It's okay. you really can let go of that stuff. It'll tell you that you can't. Don't you dare. How dare you let go of me? After all, my care is what proves that we love in this world, that we matter in this world, that, da-da. Bullshit. Just so much bullshit. If you really want to be caring and loving in the world, be willing to die. Be willing to drop everything in that zazen. And it doesn't matter really what your practice is. If you're doing hara development, 1-point concentration, work with the breath, good on you. You have everything you need. Do it. Really do that. If you have some pesky koan, same thing. Or if you're making shikantaza practice, it's no different. If you carry yourself into those things, you're messing it all up. If you can drop yourself in those things, you're getting someplace. Yielding like the earth, joyous and clear like the lake, still as the cornerstone of the temple. You are free from life and death. What does it mean to be free from life and death? Again, be careful of your mind's activity. If some Avenger superhero image comes to mind, someone who just doesn't care about anything, some immortal you that transcends everything and can exert its will against the universe. Extra nose for that one. How can you be free in this schedule where every goddamn minute is scheduled for you? It's the same question, dear one. How can I be free in this set of karmic causes and conditions? I mean, look at my life. Look, all these things, these commitments, that shit happened, and then this was kind of nice, but this thing, and how can I be free with that? Interesting question. How can you be free in that? The Master's thoughts, the Buddha teaches, are still. Their words are still. Their work itself is stillness. The Master sees freedom and is free. Inside the thoughts are silence. Inside the words, if they're alive, is silence. Inside the work, if it's the work of the Buddha, is silence. How can it be so? What does it mean to see freedom and be free? The Master surrenders their ideas and sees beyond the end and beyond the beginning. Surrendering your ideas? But I have a PhD in ideas. I am well compensated for my ideas, and rightly so. My ideas saved my ass. My ideas buried me. Surrender them, whether you're fond of them or not. Really really, truly master yourself. For real now. It has to do with you. It always has. That's what this whole thing is about. It's about you and your mind. Really wielding your mind well. Please do not hurt yourself with your mind. There is no fiercer enemy anywhere than your own mind. There is no nemesis out there that can do nearly as much harm to you as your own mind, untamed. And there is no master that can be a more beneficial guide to you than your own mind awakened. For whatever reason, all of us in the Zendo at this time have the shared karmic causes and conditions of this amazing practice of the Buddha Dharma. Please don't take it for granted just because it's here and we can just show up and do it. It's one of the disadvantages of having such a nice place and having things be so stable. There was a little bit of an advantage when everything was a little bit coming apart at the seams, when the plane was held together with duct tape and prayer. It brought a quickening. How are we going to pull this off? I mean, actually, it's still like that. If you look under the hood a little bit, we're still there. It's just the facade is a bit nicer. So, for you, for me, for us, be yielding like the earth. Whatever it is that you're resisting, just please stop. Be grounded. Let the earth receive it. She will. You can trust that. Be joyous and clear. And they're the same thing. Even in the midst of great tragedy and real horror, clarity is possible, and therefore a kind of joy that has never known suffering is actually there. It's true. It's your birthright. Give yourself the gift of connecting with it, being it. Be still as the cornerstone of the temple, especially now in this beautiful, privileged time that we share together. To have the karmic causes and conditions line up so that you actually can be sitting in this space and you have discretionary time. No one is shooting at us right now. There's no earthquake happening right now. The train moved on just fine, thank you. However it is that the kids are all right or the parents are all right or the job is sufficient for the moment is all the way it is. So hurry up and be still. Really, 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 really take advantage of it. This Zendo feels amazing. Have you noticed? The quality of the mind in this space, in this retreat, is beautiful. Don't waste a breath of it. In this way, by going right in, you can find your way out. You can actually master yourself and really, truly be free. Anything less is not acceptable Fortunately, the lineage has great patience, an amazing patience, which I certainly needed and now get to embody. But you can rely on it. Nevertheless, there must come the moment when you call Master and you answer your damn self. Yes. When that happens is up to you. That it happens is necessary. If you really want to free the numberless beings, end inexhaustible delusions, enter all the Dharma gates, and you ought to because they're delicious. If you really want to embody the Buddha way, then the time is now. Let's do it. May it be so.
Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way embody